And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free to purge anyone in this place that doesn't agree with me. And I'll gladly stand up and shoot people who eat boneless wings, 'cause you're ruining our country. God bless bone and wings. Cue the fireworks, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Election Day special. I say election day. It should be election week because we don't know what the fuck is going on. I had a feeling. Obviously, we knew it probably wasn't going to come down to actual election day on November 3rd, but here we are, November 4th. Election Day special still going, okay? And it's been a wild ride. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm so fired up right now. Fired up bars. I don't even have talking points for this episode. We're just going to talk about everything going on because there's a lot going on. A lot of cuckoo going on. And you're probably like, Evan, I didn't know you even knew what talking points were based on how your podcasts go, and I would ever utilize such a thing. And to you, I say, how dare you? How dare you? This is a very thoughtful program. You don't think I look at ways to try to improve it for you? Excuse me. You don't think things are constantly switching around here? I'm playing with the lights, trying to figure out topics, things that I could titillate you with, okay? When the world's ending. I'm over here just, a dog howling at the moon, trying to make you happy, okay? God, you're like a stepmother or something. Sorry, I didn't mean to make that about you. Shit's crazy out here in the US of A. Still, the greatest country in the world. Greatest country in the world. The idea of the United States of America is the greatest social experiment of all time. What our founding fathers tried to conquer with the Constitution, people trying to throw out, we need to get rid of the electoral vote and just go by the popular. Shut the fuck up. No, we shouldn't. You know why? No one's going to give a shit about the flyover states. Okay? No one's going to even step foot in Arkansas, Alabama. Maybe they shouldn't. Great song out of Alabama, though. Sweet Home Alabama. I actually have never been to Alabama, so I can't really see until it's fly over to me where I'm like, I don't know anything about it. But I feel like Sweet Home Alabama just made Alabama sound way better than it is. It's a great fucking song. Great fucking song. But that's why, if you didn't know, we have the electoral vote. Is that if we just went populist, people would only campaign in California and New York, Florida, Texas, all the big populated places, and wouldn't give two shits about how they treated the flyovers. And in that case, they would just be so disenfranchised. It'd be the opposite of the equality that everybody preaches about, So that's why the electoral is important. But I also am like, man, looking at how people are in California and just everywhere. I say California just because I'm around a lot of people who are interesting. This is what I was thinking, okay? I don't want to lose this thought. Everybody is pushing people to vote. Not even like why hasn't anybody pushed anybody to become educated on voting? There is too many people that I know. Listen, I voted, and your boy went down the rabbit hole. It's no thing that I'm trying to pretend I'm better. I researched the fuck out of all these measures and props and the different arguments, and it hurt my fucking brain trying to educate myself on topics that I didn't know too much about and look through all the loopholes, like make an informed decision just so I could circle one little thing. And to be honest, I feel like everybody just cared about the primary, maybe some Senate, government, stuff like that. But it's like everybody was so focused on the primary. People glossed over the other stuff, the props and the measures, the things that make a huge difference in local politics. And I think there was a lot of people that got props and measures passed and everything that they didn't even know what they were doing. They just like, okay, yeah, I guess, but not even really just by the way they word things, if it's good or bad. Such hard decisions being made. And what is weird to me, and it's so annoying. It's so annoying when I see celebrities telling people to vote and just vote, 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 vote. No one's saying get educated on voting. Isn't that weird? Like, isn't it weird that we want people to vote almost 99% knowing that they're going to make an uneducated decision just off something they saw? Like, this is what I'm getting at. I feel like we should create an education process for voting, for understanding these laws. And you should have to actually prove that you know how Congress works, how the Senate works, how the House works, how all these different areas of politics work, and what you're actually voting on. Like, you should have to take a test the same way, even if it's an easier one, like taking your driver's test. Voting in the election is literally driving the country. Bars. Look at that. Connection cars, bars. Presidential, bars. Okay? You're literally driving the country with your vote. How do we let people become so uneducated in this area, in the sense of what they're even voting on? Isn't that crazy? And it's kind of crazy that a lot of people run on things, and this is not me splitting up and dividing. Some people want the uneducated vote because they know a certain way they're going to vote based on their education. Why in certain areas they want to promote everybody to vote, but not certain other areas, you know? It's a weird process, and it's insidious. It's gross. Celebrities don't want you just to vote. They want you to vote like them, okay? That's why I don't want to become a celebrity, because I'll become fucking stupid. I was watching some cringy. Your boy started writing again, a lot of stand-up. Getting the muscle warmed up again, kind of tugging on it, if you will, like Trump in his fucking weird video that he put out yesterday of him just dancing to YMCA. That was so weird. These moves. Dun, 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 dun. There's already the jokes that it looks like he's jacking off ghosts and shit. But where do you learn that dance? That's the dance of someone with a lot of money who always had money, and they never had to invest in actually learning how to dance. This is when you're like, oh yeah, like you want women just to, like, you're doing it enough where they can just see fucking gold chains and everything. You're just like this. You never had to actually do the mating dance, because that's what dancing is. At the end of the day, that's what dancing is it's a mating ritual. You're trying to show them what you got. Get up there and fluff your feathers and let me just hit you with my pants, you know, from behind. Let me just get weird. The whole idea of clubs and everything is weird. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But like, the way Trump dances shows that there's never been any stake in the game for his ability to dance. There was zero hips. Like, maybe he just acknowledges that he has zero rhythm, and he's just like, I just got to hit the tempo. Just. It was as if he was playing like some weird pop-up, what is that gopher game? Mole whack-a-mole. That's what he looked like. So weird. I don't even know the point I was making before that. I got so lost on that dancing video. Wow, where was I going? We got lost in this rabbit hole, Peter Rabbit. We got lost in this fucking rabbit hole. But in general, someone is yelling at me right now. I know, be like, you were talking about the Titanic, which we pretty much are on right now. Titanic going down, bars. It is weird. What was weird to me is the mail-in ballot stuff. It's so interesting, and it's like, it's so blatantly corrupt. Seriously, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and it's crazy that there's been so much crazy shit happening this year that it seems like everybody's a conspiracy theorist, but there's so much facts and evidence behind it. How they started in some states voting, they started counting the mail-in ballots first in some states, and then they had the actual people who went to the polls counting their ballots after. And vice versa, that in some states. So there's like some of these states where it was just in the beginning, like for example, Texas was blue for a little while. And listen, Texas is where I'm moving. And a lot of it is because I don't like the policies in California. And it's a little too liberal out here. And when I say a little too liberal, it's just a little too crazy. A little too crazy. We got a homeless problem. We got all these tax problems. We have all these draconian laws. Yeah, I said draconian. Draco bars. Okay? All these laws in place that are just not making it good enough for a man to spread his wings. I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly. Call back to the last episode. But it's just gotten so weird. And with planning to move to Texas, all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, California ruined it. No. But then Texas came through. Flip back red. Okay? Flip back red. That was just going to be, and it wasn't so much I was like, I still moved to Texas because it's nice and balanced as all things should be. But it was just like, if Texas went blue, I was literally thinking, I don't know what the world is. And I saw a lot of people when I was in Texas. There was a lot of lawns that had Biden-Harris signs out on the yard. Almost more than what I see here in Ventura, which is a liberal beach town. And I was like, oh shit. You kind of think of Texas, some people have one view of it. It's not that at all. Texas is very diverse. The city that I'm going to be moving to, predominantly minorities. You have a lot of Hispanic families, a lot of African American families. You have, I don't know about Asians though. But it's a very diverse place. And I think it gets a bad rap, the stereotypes. Just like I think California gets a bad rap too. But if we're talking about balance here, looking at how California votes, it's pretty predominantly a liberal place, obviously. I don't know, because liberal places like the water, I guess. There's some weird shit with the mail-in ballots, though. I was looking at Michigan, and this is just stuff that's interesting. I want Biden to lose just because of how annoying some people have been on social media. That's the truth. I don't necessarily want Trump to win. I want Biden to lose just because how annoying some of you people are on social media. And let this be a lesson. Okay? Let this be a lesson that guilt and shame should never be used as a tool to try to get someone to vote for what you want them to vote for. That has been the biggest thing that I've seen during this election that I think is toxic and gross, is people telling other people, a lot of younger people telling grown-ass people with families who have been through life and have worked hard their entire life, and you're making this blanket statement that if you vote for so-and-so, then you're a racist, homophobic, and you support pedophiles. Huh? What? Those are actual things. I don't know if you guys can hear that helicopter coming to get me right now. Those are actual things that I've seen. God, I can't wait to go to Texas. I'm going to have a studio. Not going to have to deal with this fucking noise. Anyway. I've literally seen people posting that on social media. Just like the volatile. It's gross. People are just spewing poison across social media. And it's disgusting. And it's not the way to go about this. Because I'll be honest, me by nature, contrarian. You tell me to do something, I'm going to probably do the opposite just because I don't like the way you told me to do it. It's just who I am. It's in me nature. Okay? It's in me nature. I don't like that. Now, I think what's good for everybody, we just educate everybody. We have to realize we're all Americans. Okay? We're all in this together. And we normally have been able to work as a society together. But you know who we shouldn't like altogether? People eat boneless wings. I'm very passionate about that, okay? You guys might be like, Evan, you never give it up with the boneless wings. But here's the thing. I get boneless wings and bone-in wings sent to me almost daily. Okay? I am more synonymous with the bone-in community than Adidas and soccer. I am more synonymous with the bone-in wing community than Kanye West and crazy pills. I am more synonymous with bone-in wings than Trump and jacking off ghosts. Dum, dum, dum. Call back. But yeah, I was talking to a buddy, and I'm like, this whole mail-in ballot thing, it doesn't make sense at all. People are saying, oh, it's been very secure and blah, blah, blah. No, it fucking hasn't. You know what else doesn't make sense? The way that we're voting. We go to a poll, write in a little thing, circle it in, and then we just give it to some fucking volunteer that's there. That doesn't have an agenda. These aren't fucking moral robots with no human feelings and their own agenda. And they're the ones. It's not like some... It needs to become... We need to take humans out of the process. And I know this is the first step towards AI taking over. This is the first step towards AI taking over. But in reality, we need a better system than this. The fact that people are voting by mail. There have been so many cases of hundreds of thousands of ballots being lost. In reality, in this election, we can't count that as spillage, okay? You know how when you like go to a Cheerio factory and they're like, we allow for up to 3 or 4 mice to be in the, the oatmeals. No, it doesn't work with the president of the United States. The big impact that it has. We can't allow for that with the election. The fact that someone is receiving it who just works for the Postal Service, you don't think there's a chance that someone's going to intercept them, local government, anything, and just be like, hey, if you lose all these ballots coming from this particular county, like for example, if you have a really blue state and then you have a few scattered counties that are definitely red, and then you have it actually being close in that state. Projections are close. And you go to these counties that are really red in these little counties, and you go up to the postal workers. By the law of average, those are predominantly going to be votes for red. And you just go, hey, here's $1,000. I want you to lose 200 ballots. You go to another person. I want you to lose 200 ballots. Lose 200 ballots. That can sway a decision in a primary election completely, especially when these are coming down to single swing states. Right now, Pennsylvania, and let's see what else we got. Right now, it is 238 to 213. Joe Biden leading. Couple swing states. It looks like right now, if Biden can hold on to Nevada, Wisconsin, and Michigan, it looks like he has it. I'm pretty sure that puts him right at 270. Trump would need to either flip Wisconsin. And that's the thing. These are coming down to... Some of these are 30,000, 50,000 votes. That's what it's coming down to in this election for the presidency. And you already had a thing in Michigan. This is the fact I was going to make about the ballots and about things getting messed up with these oops situations. And again, it's ridiculous. I was going to say, again, I don't care who wins, but it's like, man, I kind of want Joe Biden to lose. Don't necessarily want Trump to win, but I want Joe Biden to lose. In Michigan, in the middle of the night, there was something like 128,000 at like 3 a.m. 128,000 votes casted, 100% Biden, just at 3 a.m. Like, boom. You're telling me that 100% of those votes were towards Biden? And then here's another one. You can look this up. In Antrim County, I believe it is. Antrim County. I'm going to get you guys the name. I don't know. Antrim County. Normally a little red raspberry, if you will, in Michigan. And this is coming down very tight. I believe right now the difference in votes is 30,000 right now. That's pretty crazy for Michigan. 30,000. In Antrim County, there was 8,000 votes for Biden versus Trump. And everybody was like, wait, what? Antrim County? That goes completely against the trend of voting in Antrim County, predominantly Republican. And they start investigating it. And what they find out, the data was skewed. Oops, it was transposed. Oh, it was an accident. We accidentally counted the votes for Trump for Biden and vice versa. So Biden got Trump's votes and Trump got Biden's votes. Oink, oink, oink. How did that happen? Oh, me so forgetful. Me see one old man and me put the other old man. That's me being a silly cartoon, if you couldn't catch that. I look like I'm channeling my inner Lex Friedman right now. If you don't know who that is, he wears a suit on his podcast. Great mind. The dude is a genius. Also, jiu-jitsu black belt, plays the guitar. A great person. If you've ever never seen Lex Friedman's show, go check that shit out. He is a legit stable genius. Back to this show. Isn't it crazy? Like, we can't allow for that. We can't allow for these accidents to happen. And just this weirdness with the fact that mail-in ballots in some states are going to be counted after the walk-in votes and vice versa. So it's like, okay, we can hedge our bets on these ones, and they've been setting the precedent for weeks that, mail-in ballots are predominantly Democrat. And it's like, are you guys setting the landscape for this to be flipped, just so you're like, these are mainly going to be this vote, just so you know, so it doesn't come to a shock to everybody? It's very weird. It's very weird. I thought that was Wisconsin. No, that was Minnesota. Biden has it. Let's see what we got. I really don't know. I think, so Biden took Arizona, and I want to say Arizona voted red last election, right? Right? Anybody? Bueller. But here's my big argument. We need to make voting completely electronic, and we need to have a very stringent method of doing it and verification process. We need to have people. We can't say, some people don't know how to use the computer. You can't vote. You shouldn't be allowed to vote, guy. Okay? You need to figure this out. It's very important. Go to your neighbor's house. Figure it out. But we need to have something linked to the Social Security, your driver's license, or an identification card, or and with facial recognition. Listen, we have the technology. This whole thing of keeping this archaic system by mail-in voting and even voting in the booth is silly and easily manipulated. You know what you can't manipulate and lose? Well, I guess you have servers crash, but the chances of that being in preparation for such an influx, you'll be able to handle it. Because you know what happens? Do you remember in high school, maybe even middle school, your teacher would, you would have to post an assignment or something or send an email, and what would you do? I sent it. You didn't get it? That didn't work. It doesn't work. You know where it does work? With actual mail, because it does get lost in the mail. How many times have you actually had mail get lost in an email? I didn't receive it. Well, check your spam. There it is. That's all that happens. The method is so much better. And you might say some rare case where, like, I've sent it and just my malware kept blocking it from sending. Okay, but the percentage and chance of manipulation and people being able to do fuckery with electronic voting is so much smaller, okay? Because you need to register. You can have fingerprints. Like, that's the thing. Months ahead. That'd be great. Anyway, bars. months ahead. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Bars. You actually have people sign up for this process where you have to verify with thumbprints, fingerprints. You need to facial recognition. You need to have some form of identification. Sorry, having a stroke. And your social security. Like, you should have to have like a 4-step process to get verified to vote. That you're still fucking alive. Because guess what? There's a lot of dead people voting. I don't know if you know that or not. But this always happens when there's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. We found out in this state, like 3 years later, they're like, 67,000 votes were casted by people who had died. We don't know how. It's because of these stupid systems. They're archaic. They don't make sense. Listen, we can't trust humans to be honest about this. I was telling my buddy, I was like, dude, if you ran for class president and I was in charge of, tallying the votes, I don't trust myself because your boy likes longer snack times, okay? And I know you're going to implement those policies and I just like you better, okay? Listen, anybody who volunteers, and that's the thing, a lot of people at these voting booths are volunteers. It doesn't make sense. You don't think, listen, if you're so passionate, like if you're going to volunteer at a voting booth, that means you're very passionate about politics. And if you're very passionate about politics in this time, it means that you probably have an agenda. And I'm not saying this with everybody, but it's probably with at least, 25% of the people that are wanting people to vote a certain way. Even that small percentages, you could say 10 to 15%, it's going to be an issue, okay? And I'm serious because I have a tie on, okay? I have a tie on this episode, so you got to know that, ladies and gentlemen. Go check out the video on YouTube. No one watches it on YouTube. I have a few people watching. I'm like, wow, people are actually watching this on YouTube. It's all audio, so I just had to describe it for you people just listening, okay? It just seems so flawed, our system with that. And we can't use this excuse that people don't have technology. Well, there's going to be a lot of people that don't. Look what the pandemic taught us, is how quick people can adapt to this situation, this technology. And it should be necessary. Like, at some point we have to be like, okay, we can't keep holding back the way we do things because some people are too stubborn to learn how to use technology. Listen, my dad, he used to be so against technology. You try and get in touch with my pops now, he'll text you. He's going to watch his news, he's going to do whatever. It's going on his iPad. He don't give a shit. The man is living in the future now, is what I'm saying, okay? And he came from that Stone Age. He didn't want it, okay? There was a time when my dad would only send me, okay, yes, bye, in text message. That's all I could get. Or he didn't know where his text message was. Now, the man is writing 2 to 3 sentences, sending me pictures of food that he cooks. That's my dad now, okay? It can be done. People can come from the other side to this side. And that's what we need. We need to stop holding ourselves back with this bullshit of mail-in ballots and voting in person. And I'm sure there's a counter argument to this. I'm sure there is. But we need to start exploring other options because it's too much. And here's something that I am happy about. This has been a silver lining with the way things are panning out. Social media, all these huge players, Google, Facebook, Instagram, they lean so hard left. It's the truth. They censor right-wing beliefs and they stick to these left ideologies. And everybody's entitled to their opinion. Listen, some of my best friends vote one way, best friends vote the other way. There's a lot of good people on each side and a lot of, listen, I'm not on the right side. I'm not on the left side. I'm what you call a mutant. I'm Blade. I'm a daywalker. I can work in both worlds. And that's how everybody should be. Perfectly balanced as a contrarian. A lot of these ideas that left people have, I'm left-handed anyway, it doesn't make sense, are good ideas. They're great ideas. I'm very against bullying. I'm very against hate speech. I'm very against anything that hurts people, okay? And then I see the counter argument of that is people go, well, if you do that, then you support this because that person, blah, 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 blah. And they want to make these connections of variables connected to one person that aren't necessarily true. And that was just a rabbit hole. That wasn't even connected to the main talk I was doing right now. A lot of the social media platforms, they have these great ideas, but the execution on them have an agenda. And the certain kind of censorship that they do is an agenda. And it is controlled by the people on there. I think there's predominantly a lot more left-leaning people on social media than there is right. And that's because just like in cities, you're going to have younger demographics. And for some reason, younger people usually start going left because they have all these ideologies and they want to believe that they are doing the right thing. And then I think as you get older, you start seeing reality and the balance that is needed. And one thing, the silver lining that I'm trying to get to, is that it seems with how tight things actually are, that there's more of a balance in the world than I might have thought before this election. And I think it's good. I think that's one thing that people should realize on both sides is that not everybody agrees with you. And just because you feel so passionate a certain way, it might not be the right way. And it's important to go at some point, like you can't be in an echo chamber of your own thoughts. That's why it's important to be friends with people who do have other beliefs, to not cancel people, to not unfollow people because you call it, what they're doing as hate speech or that they have these other political beliefs. Because when you get into an echo chamber, you can start getting too close to the forest to see the trees. Bars, outdoor bars. But it's true. Like, if everybody around you thinks like you, when someone starts having a radical idea, it doesn't seem that crazy. Because we all agreed on this point, let's just move a little bit over to this side more. Oh yeah, that works. And then someone has a radical idea and you're like, that's kind of extreme, but like it's not that far off our truth, which is already off the center, that you start leaning that way. And then you start having it, where you start getting these crazy groups, Chaz and all this stuff, where people think they're doing the right thing. I'm sure, and that's what's scary about, when the protests and the riots and everything were happening, is that there were so many people who were ripping people out of cars, killing cops, and thinking that they were doing the right thing because they were in an echo chamber of extreme beliefs. And I think that's why it's most important, and it's a silver lining, because I feel like there was enough balance, there's a good balance in our world to where people can balance out. I think that's so important. And obviously this has been such an insane year. But I think it's important to have balance of who you get information from, who you listen to, who you talk to, and understand. Listen, dude, that even breaks down to just even relationships. Not everybody's alike. And you have to just at least learn to understand where people are coming from, why they feel the way they feel, rather than just being like, you're just a sensitive snowflake, what do you know? Or being like, you're just a bigot racist, what do you know? We can't label people like that. And that's been my political TED Talk for the day, ladies and gentlemen. With that being said, I still will be purging when all the results come out, no matter who wins. It's just going to be a good purge. I'm going to eat a lot of food and then throw it up. And then I'm going to go traditionally purge. So I'm going to hit double whammy on the purge. Okay. Mainly going to be going after people who eat boneless wings. Political stuff doesn't really matter to me. It's just going to be mainly your view and political beliefs about the bone-in wing. Okay. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you next week. Remember, no matter what, I still love you. Okay. I miss you. And if you like this, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, whatever you cool cats and kittens do. I love you.